The professor tells us. Coming up next on the PHLY Eagles podcast, EJ Smith joining after talking to players in the locker room as well. It's all coming up next right now. This is the PHLY Eagles podcast presented by Bet365 and Ashley. I'm Bo Wolf. On my left, you know him. You love him. You'll learn from him. The professor. Deniz is here. We'll hear from EJ Smith, who's going to join us in about a half an hour or so. But until then, just a little two-hander. Professor, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you doing?
You got your very fancy water glass again.
Oh, yeah. You know how it is. That's how I roll.
Your Uzo.
Yeah. Roku.
Yeah. How you doing? How are you feeling?
Doing good. I went to see Allen Iverson earlier this week.
Yeah?
Yeah, lecture series.
How'd it go?
It was surprisingly good.
Who was the moderator?
Gilly, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he step over him?
Gilly and Wallow. Did he
step over him?
He did a lot of the step over thing.
Okay.
Yeah. It was
what did you learn?
It was cool. I mean, like, I've always been a big AI fan. I went to all those playoff games back in 2001. Me and Feldman were there for all the NBA Finals games, which, those games didn't go well, but that was a great era of Sixers basketball, unlike this one.
You know that I was triggered when you say I've always been a big AI fan.
Oh, yeah. No, the original AI.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. I had a chance to go to the Underground Arts last night, check out Matt Quinn. And surprise guest Jordan Mailata.
Yeah, how was that?
What a time.
Did you know Mailata was going to be?
I did not.
Okay.
Yeah. Pleasant surprise.
Yeah, there you go. That's good. I saw the video with Mailata, but
good videography.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Definitely felt a little washed.
Mailata. Oh, you did.
Me.
Okay.
Yeah. Rachel and I went. It just,
felt old.
A lot of young people
in the crowd. Yeah. That's happening to me a lot. I'm going to a lot of shows. I'm still going to a lot of shows, and either it's a band like from the 90s,
right?
And so everyone's old,
right?
And so then I feel old because I feel like everyone's
right.
old here. Or it's like a new band that I'm trying to get into, and then everyone's young, and then either way, it's a little tricky to know how to feel.
I mean, I am washed.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. The passage of time.
That's right. That's right. Time just passes.
Comes for us all.
Yeah.
Let's talk football. The Eagles offense, disappointing.
Yeah.
How was your mood affected by a performance like we saw last Thursday night?
Yeah, it was tough. The Denver game was hard on me too, because I'm just wasn't used to the team losing for a long time. But it was a short week, right? Had to get through the film really fast. And get on the get here for the show Wednesday. Like, it was almost didn't have time to think about it. And so after that really, really disappointing game on Thursday night, for me, like, psychologically as a fan, it's like I still hadn't fully processed the Denver game. It's like I was gonna kind of continue to process the Denver game no matter what happened Thursday. And so having to process both together and having all this time, like, without coming on the show, without having another game was actually pretty hard. And I'm also not teaching. There's a 2-week break
so
in the middle of the.
You're just wallowing.
Yeah, just had nothing to. Yeah, it was just like, So it took me forever to get through the film.
How late were you up last night?
I was okay last night. I had to do drop off this morning, so
okay.
I knew that. So I went to bed pretty early. But early for me is like 1:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into it.
Yeah.
And let's start because you have put together some solutions. We're trying to be solution oriented here.
Yeah.
Some helpful tips. And this is not rebuilding the offense from scratch. This is within the construct of what we know that this offense can do.
Right.
You've come up with some things that they can do to maybe tweak things. And we should probably start with how they're performing overall just to begin with.
Yeah, I think like one of the things that is worth doing is stepping back and being like, look, I know like this team won the Super Bowl last year. Everyone remembers the parade. But let's not pretend we didn't spend the entire season, like
Yeah.
including 2 games into the playoffs,
Yes.
talking about how the offense was inept and how like the scheme was stale and how the quarterback had problems and like there were all these issues. All those things that we talked about were to some degree hidden by the fact that the offensive line was playing very well. The running back was able to turn good runs into great runs. And then the defense was world class, right? Like, so those things together made it a Super Bowl winning team, Super Bowl, like, and obviously the last 2 games, the passing game was also good.
Right.
But like throughout the season, we talked about how come they don't use more play action? How come they're never under center? How come they don't use motion? How come they don't do that? Like we talked about all those things last year as well. And then you step back and you look at if you go by DVOA, last year the Eagles offense was 14th in total offensive DVOA, 14th in passing DVOA.
As you told us all along, they had this historically weak schedule, specifically of opposing defenses.
The Eagles managed to play 21 games last year, and only one of them was against the top 10 defense by DVOA. And this year, that's not been the case. They've been playing better teams. So last year, the offense 14th overall, 14th in passing, 6th in rushing. This year so far, 14th overall, 14th passing, 17th in rushing. So worse in rushing, we know that.
Sure.
But
and it doesn't feel, especially the 14th in passing, doesn't feel accurate.
Right. And so this is where, like, okay, a lot of us last year thought maybe the DVOA formula overweighed strength of schedule, right? But like at the end of the day, it was a historically easy slate of defenses. And this year it's been a very good slate of defenses.
Which is a good reminder,
far.
Yes.
And we knew the schedule was going to be hard coming into this year. So we knew things were going to be harder. We knew there were going to be some changes and some things that reverted. We knew that not every counter run was going to go for 70 yards. You know, like you just knew that there were certain things that were going to be a little different. And the main thing that's different, and I'm not going to try to fix this because this isn't something that can be fixed with scheme, I don't think, is the offensive line's just not playing as well, right? You've got Cam Jurgens is clearly not as good as he was last year. I don't know if it's because he's injured or what it is. Landon Dickerson was so obviously hobbled. Like he wasn't even close to what he was last year. And then Brett Toth showed us, poor guy, but like showed us why Landon Dickerson playing at 60% is still a better option, right? Like, and so now you've got this offensive line that's not playing great anymore. Tyler Steen's a step down from Mekhi Becton, especially in the run game. Neither of the tackles are playing as well either. I mean, like I think all these things like need to be said. Jordan Mailata has talked about how he's never felt worse physically in an offseason, all those things. And you guys showed the graphic the other day that I posted about the negative yards before carry, right? So Saquon Barkley is being contacted before the line of scrimmage. 36% of his carries.
That is wild.
The NFL average is 26%. And when you look at the Saquon Barkley past seasons, including the ones on the Giants, it was never this high. The highest that ever was on the Giants was 30% for a season. And so that's really bad. And, Jordan Mailata is talking earlier this week. He said, with Landon, like the two of us would just take the 3-tech and drive him down the field. And that's not happening this year. They're not even giving us those looks. Like we're not able to do those things. And it's like, well, yeah, guess what? Like teams are going to adjust. They're not going to line up a 3-tech between Mailata and Landon anymore. Like they're going to play things a little differently. You're going to have to do different things. Let's just accept as a premise that the offensive line isn't just going to magically get back to the same level and put it on the coaches to do what most NFL coaches have to do, which is hide weaknesses on their offensive line. Right? Like most offensive lines in the league have weaknesses, and teams have to do things to scheme to protect some of those weaknesses. And so that's kind of what the premise of the solutions are.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to be realistic about it.
Yes, and we will. Well, let's make this the big takeaway presented by Xfinity. And I before we get to that, I want to ask you, because I've been thinking about how much of what's going wrong this season, and I know going wrong, they're still 4-2. All of that is understood, is paying for things that went right last year. So EJ has talked about the offensive line, right? Those guys are still banged up from last year, even all the tush pushes, right? Mailata has talked about it. There's no doubt that they are paying the dividends of that. I think you could say the same thing potentially about the amount of snaps that Jalen Carter had to play last year. And boy, did that work out last year. They won a Super Bowl. Obviously, you take that trade-off, but he might be paying for that now in not playing at a high level and being injured.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if you think that, knowing how you felt about Saquon last year, they felt like it was going to be too easy.
Which was partially misrepresented. I mean, but let's
Partially.
Yeah, okay.
That thinking that they could just roll the ball out and have that dominant run game again stopped them from being more creative in terms of fixing some things in the passing game in the offseason.
Yeah,
Do you think that's possible?
Yes, definitely. I definitely think that. And I think we even talked about it a little bit a few weeks ago, how they have been calling the games, and then they switched right after we said that. Like, they switched to like a much more pass heavy approach against Denver, right? But it was like they're still calling the game as if Saquon's gonna go off for like 70 yards at any point, right? And they got so used to that the year before, so used to, hey, we don't turn it over when we run it, and we do still hit explosives, that they thought that they could win the two things they always talk about, the turnover battle and the explosive play battle, with a run-heavy approach. And with the offensive line not being as good, with the offensive line letting Saquon get contacted behind the line of scrimmage at this very high rate, you're not getting the explosives anymore. And they're not even getting successful runs. And Saquon Barkley is next to last in success rate by running backs. I mean, it's just like wildly bad. I mean, this isn't like an average run game. This is a bad run game right now. And they didn't have to scheme around that last year, and they're going to have to this year. And this is something that they really haven't had to scheme around any year, right? This is new. Like I always point out, and this was part of my like Saquon thing last year. The Eagles were better in rushing DVOA and rushing EPA per play in 2022 than they were in 2024. Like, they've always had a good running game, is the point. Part of that was the quarterback run game. Part of that was just the offensive line was dominant. But the run game has always been good. We haven't had a year where the run game was bad and the pass game had to compensate for a bad run game.
Yeah.
And so this is new. Like every year, despite all the continuity on the offensive roster, which is crazy. The Eagles have more continuity on the offensive roster than any other team in the NFL. Like, all of the main characters have been the same for 4 years. And yet, every year they have this crisis in October where they have to find themselves and have meetings and discover themselves. But none of the years has the crisis been, we can't run the ball, right? Like, in 2021, it was the other way. It was like, we're passing it too much. It turns out Jalen Hurts isn't Phillip Rivers. Like, we have to run it more. In 2024, famously, they were like, we have Saquon, let's run the ball. And it worked, right? But it's never been like, the running game isn't working. Let's switch to passing the ball and have that and had it be successful. Like, we haven't seen that happen yet. So it's a new challenge. And so that's part of what these solutions are going to hopefully be about.
All right. Well, let's get to those solutions after this word from our sponsors. On the other side, we'll find out the 6 ways that the professor feels like he can fix the Eagles' offense. If your home needs a little TLC, or you're dreaming of that next big vacation, maybe even to see one of the Philly teams play on the road, listen up. TrueMark Financial's HELOC Select just got even better. Rates just dropped, making it more affordable to put your home's equity to work. If you need a new kitchen, big repairs, maybe knock out some debt, well, the HELOC Select allows you to access your cash all at once or just when you need it. Total flexibility, just like a good game plan. Make it happen today. Visit one of TrueMark's 24 branches or head to TrueMark.com/PHLY and get in the game today. That's TRUMARK.com/PHLY. Federally insured by the NCUA. Equal opportunity lender and MLS 404938. And then I'll tell you about our friends at Mack Weldon. From the gym to work to a night out or summer adventures or fall adventures, you want clothes that feel comfortable anywhere. Mack Weldon has breathable clothes that keep you cool, comfortable, and stylish. Perfect for the fall. Their new Tech Linen line combines the easy charm of classic linen with Cool Max technology. You can explore shirts, shorts, hoodies, and more at MackWeldon.com and get 25% off your first order with code PHLY. That's right. Not flashy, just classic, always in style, and made from the world's most comfortable performance materials. Get breathable clothes that can feel comfortable all year long. Go to MackWeldon.com and get 20% off your first order of $125 or more with promo code PHLY. That's MackWeldon.com, promo code PHLY. All right. Number one, the professor's 6 solutions. Number one is
more play action, which we're not going to talk about for very long because we've been talking about it for years. You know, play action is such a mainstream, like widely accepted, proven tool in the NFL.
yes.
That helps you distort, especially zone coverage, right? Because you can move the linebackers off their spot. Guys are chasing the run, and then you throw it to the zone that they vacated. You're able to, have a more effective run game when you do a lot of play action, because now if they're worried about play action, they're not going to be able to, head downfield and fill in all the gaps the way they're doing this year against the Eagles' run game. It helps both the run game and the pass game. Everybody knows this. And yet, the Eagles are 30th in play action usage in the NFL. They're not that bad at it when they do it, but it's almost
not great at it either.
Not great, but it's kind of like, it's not like they're terrible at it in a way that makes you say okay, this is they're not doing it because they suck. It's like they're doing fine. It's just they don't do it enough for the numbers to mean anything. 30th in the NFL in play action usage. AJ Brown has 3 catches this year out of play action. He has 22 not out of play action, right? He's been targeted 9 times in play action. 36 not in play action. So, just the rate at which they're using play action. It's not just A.J. Brown. I just picked A.J. Brown as an example. No one's really getting a lot of play action targets. They're 30th in under center play action as well. Their only successful under center play action play of the season was a scramble by Jalen on the 3rd play of the season. And that was a scramble. It wasn't even a completion. They don't have a single under center play action completion for a successful play. They have 1 completion total. It was a 1-yard completion to Kylan Granson in the first game. So I'm not expecting this to change, but I had to put it number 1 because I think it's impossible to have an honest conversation about the Eagles offense without talking about why the hell don't they just use more play?
Right.
It's you have the runs, you have pass concepts that would work well with those runs. Why not?
Right.
Instead of just keeping the running back in to protect, for example, why not have him carry out a play fake and kind of take away a pass rusher that way? You know what I mean? It's like there are certain ways that you can use Saquon being on the field other than having him be like a 6th offensive lineman, which he isn't even that good at.
You are not advocating for more under center play action necessarily, right? Because it would be nice, but
it would be nice. But
we've
at this point we've accepted that Jalen just doesn't like that, and they really do it very little. I made it a swooper yesterday.
Yes. Do we want to talk about that?
Man, yeah, I don't know. I think the solution of they're not going to do it anyway this week, right? And so, well, maybe after that meeting they will. Yeah. So, no, I don't know. I think it's fine. Yeah. Well, I'll come up with something clever for
just to underscore
for next week.
Like you said, they are middling in both. According to True Media, they are 21st in EPA per dropback when they do run play action.
Okay.
At 0.02 EPA.
Right.
Meanwhile, they're 24th in non-play action, and it's negative 0.04. So it's not a huge difference,
right?
But it's certainly better.
Yeah, it's better. And also, there are certain situations where they've been running the ball a bunch. It's when you do pass the ball during these stretches, why wouldn't you make it play action off of one of those runs?
Right.
And instead, it's almost like okay, let's go to the passing game chapter and run 2 slants on this side and crash on the other side with the running back scanning for blitzers. And it's there are ways to get to those same passing concepts with play action added to it. And it's when they do play action, we've talked about this in the past.
Doo-doo.
It is like doo-doo. It's they Jalen sort of sticks the ball out, no one's fighting on the fake. The offensive line isn't doing anything different. They're clearly pass blocking, and teams watch enough film that they know that that's not going to be a run. So
we get. I think we should also, as you go through these 6 things, discuss whether it's likely to happen.
Oh yeah. I'll let you answer those.
I think that they will tick this up a little bit.
Okay.
Not a huge. I don't think they're going to all of a sudden become top 10 in play action. But if you're giving me, are they going to raise or rise in the rankings here? I do think so, but I think it will be marginal.
Okay. I think that's probably right. Do you think it'll be effective? And by that I mean, is Fran going to have like a breakdown of a play where the play action is the reason it worked?
Only if he's not incentivized to not do it.
Okay,
like
so you think
a super item?
So you think it? No. I
think they'll maybe hit a big play at a play action or something like that. Maybe an unscouted look this week.
Okay, all right. I would hope there's something
Yeah.
that makes us say, "Ooh, that's new." After all this talk of the meetings and all this kind of stuff. Okay.
All right. So Deniz's solution number 2.
Number 2, more crossing routes. The Eagles rank 31st. First of all, the Eagles rank like 30th, 31st, or 32nd in pretty much every tendency metric. So here's another one. The Eagles rank 31st in the NFL at running crossing routes. I'm not even talking about targets or like being good at them. Just
kind of wild.
Even running crossing routes.
Do you know where they are in years past?
31st. They did not rank 31st. They ranked in the 20s, like in each of the last like couple of years. Now, there were consecutive plays in the Giants game on which first DeVonta Smith and then A.J. Brown caught 16-yard passes. They were both 16 yards. They were both shallow crossing routes against zone coverage. And in both of them, I was like, that's the first time A.J. Brown caught a crossing route this year. That's the first time DeVonta Smith caught a crossing route this year. It was the first completion to each of those players on crossing routes. It was the first target for DeVonta Smith on a crossing route. This was game 6. Last year, for context, Jalen was 8 for 8 hitting DeVonta Smith on crossing routes, including some explosive plays. Yeah, I mean, they've never really run that many crossing routes. That has been a thing. And A.J. Brown caught, like, I think either 6 or 7 passes on crossing routes. Now,
that's crazy.
Kevin Patullo was asked earlier this week by, I believe it was Jeff McClain, about the advantages of half-field reads. And his answer was, every quarterback is different. Speed it up by splitting the field in half. But that's getting harder as defenses have evolved. You get a lot of different coverages. You used to get indicators. And then he kind of went on about like how maybe there aren't. Like it was almost like therapy. Like he was like, maybe there aren't as many advantages as there used to be. Yeah. So, you know, the half field reads is like, and then no crossing routes, that's the same thing, right? Like one of the most common things the Eagles do is they'll run the crash concept that we've talked, or sometimes it's called smash, like where you have the in breaker from the outside receiver, and the corner out from the inside receiver. You have the two slants. You have the short out from the inside receiver and the go from the outside receiver. These concepts, like they've just been doing them over and over again for so many years that you can really see defenses just kind of like waiting to catch those routes at this point. A crossing route stresses zones. It stresses man coverage. Like it makes the defense have answers for something that they're not normally doing. Now, crossing routes take longer to develop, and you need to trust your offensive line. Is that one of the reasons that we're seeing a little bit less of it this year? Maybe. I don't know. But like,
no, Jalen still holds the ball longer than most quarterbacks. Like,
that's true. That's true. I mean, if you just look at A.J. Brown, because we always talk about A.J. Brown usage, like 11% of his routes last year were crossing routes, only 6% this year. Wow. Are crossing routes. So that is one of the lowest among wide receivers in the league. So that would be something I think that would
have
help
less faith that this is all of a sudden going to become a major part of the offense.
Because it involves kind of a fundamental passing kind of choreography change.
Yes. And it also feels a little bit more tilted toward somebody's preferences.
Okay.
Now, do you have, are we going to get to, do you have something about like accessing the middle of the field? Are we going to get to that? Or is this, because this is part of that?
Yeah, right? I think it is part of that. And it's the middle of the field kind of in both directions, right? So no quarterback throws like between the hashes less than Jalen Hurts, for example. No quarterback throws, or the Eagles are 30th as a team. So I think Jalen's about 30th as well at throwing in the middle third of the field.
Okay.
Like, left or right wise.
Okay.
And then you have air yards, right? Like how far down the field.
And this one is really glaring.
Yeah. When you look at this, like, especially.
Jalen has never thrown the ball over the middle of the field that often.
That's true. Now, the Eagles are playing the Vikings this week. Do we have the air yards graphics?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Like, I think they're. Yeah, so this is one that shows Jalen Hurts' career and how far down the field his passes have gone. Like, what percent of his throws go negative yards, up to 5 yards, up to 10 yards, up to 15, up to 20. That green that you can barely see for 2025 is 15 to 20 air yards. The Eagles are dead last in the NFL at throwing passes in that range. Only 2.9% of Jalen's passes have traveled between 15 and 20 air yards.
Crazy.
The Vikings, in contrast, are first in the league, by
Yeah.
the way, 14%. So that's, like 5 times as many almost of their passes are going that distance. And when you look at the Vikings on this league-wide chart here, you can see that they have almost the exact same number of passes traveling negative yards, 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, 20 plus. They make you defend the entire field, both width-wise and lengthwise. The Eagles don't do that. They don't throw to the middle of the field, and they don't throw those middle ranges. And it's not like they throw a lot 10 to 15 yards either. Like when you expand that middle of the field to 10 to 20 yards, the Eagles are still dead last in throwing 10 to 20 yards. And yeah, this has a lot to do with the lack of, first of all, play action. Like a lot of play action passes are designed to hit that part of the field because that's the part of the field that the linebackers are vacating.
Right, exactly.
And then it also has to do with not running certain route combinations and crossers.
And it has to do with, I think there's a case to be made that part of the field is accessed by scheme more than by players.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes, absolutely.
And for a team that is built on our players are better than yours, it makes sense intellectually why that would be. But yeah, I mean, they're giving up a bunch of the field that they can attack.
That's absolutely right. And it's hard, like coming into this game, to not do a comparison between A.J. Brown and Justin Jefferson, like two very talented receivers, both top receivers in the league, and how they're used and where on the field they're targeted. A.J. Brown in that 10 to 20 air yard range, 17% of his targets are in that range. Justin Jefferson, 38%. And in his career, Jefferson's never been below 30%.
Wow.
So like he's been in this like kind of schemed up offense where he's getting a larger variety of routes than A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown runs a disproportionate number of slants and a disproportionate number of posts and goes. And the posts and goes, you could argue like it's like, well, that's not, he's downfield, but like you rarely get targeted on those.
Yeah.
Like those, he ends up essentially running clear outs.
Yeah.
And who's he running the clear out for? Like Jahan Dotson's running a hitch underneath that Jalen's not going to throw anyway.
Right, you want to, right? Like, well, that's exactly right. Like run the clear out so that DeVonta can cross the field underneath you.
Right, for example. But that's not what you're getting. You're getting DeVonta running a hitch instead. So it's just like I just don't understand. I don't understand this. And these plays are in the book. Like the one thing that would make me push back on they're not going to do this is we know they have it in the playbook. It's just a matter of pushing that button more. And we know they like to spam like the same concepts over and over again. But I don't know if maybe you're right. Maybe it's just you think it's just Jalen's preference that he's not throwing those like maybe higher risk throws like they could lead
I think
to turnovers?
That's part of it. Yeah, I do. I don't have a good reason why. All right, let's get to the professor's solution for the offense. Number 3.
More empty. So
I think the word is actually emptier.
If you wanted to make it one word,
yeah,
would you say emptier?
The room looks emptier.
Interesting.
Right? I don't think you wouldn't say more empty.
You could say more empty. Looks more empty. Without the couch there, the room looks more empty. You can totally say that.
Emptier.
Emptier. All right. You're like world class at what's the word here?
Getting off track?
Yes. That's not a bad thing. That's fine. In this last game against the Giants, the Eagles were an empty 8 plays. This is most of any play this year. This is very anecdotal because it's just this week, but Jalen was 7 for 8 for 46 yards out of empty. Eagles were 75% success rate, 6 for 8 on those plays. Only 42% success rate when not an empty. Now, that's just one game, but the Eagles have had a ton of success out of empty in the past with DeVonta Smith in the slot. I know you have.
Yeah.
I don't know if you wrote about it, talked about it in the past.
Both, yeah.
You used to write about stuff like that. Yeah. And like it's
at the time.
In addition to the skill set of the players that you have and getting them in space and all those kinds of things, there are a couple of other things that getting an empty does. One, it lets all 5 of your guys get in the route, which I wanted to put into, I didn't want to make that its own thing because it kind of goes with this one. I don't know if it's because of pass protection fears but I've talked about this almost every week now, and I'm getting kind of tired of it because it's more and more of the same, and it's getting worse and worse every week. The Eagles are still dead last at getting all 5 players out on the route. 32nd in the league. Only 61% of their dropbacks involve all 5 players actually running a route. That's dramatically lower than what we've seen from the Eagles in past years. They're having the running back stay in, protecting, even when it's kind of obviously a 4-man rush. They've done it even against 3-man rushes. They're lining up in 12 and having both tight ends stay in to block against what turns out to be a 4-man rush. So you've got 3 routes with 7 guys to cover them. And they're not really shot plays. They're running like long curls, like things that would only work against a blitz, basically. And the team's not blitzing. We've talked about how teams are showing blitz and not. They're guessing wrong, and just the fact that they're guessing shows you that they're thinking a little bit too much about what the defense is doing. Something that A.J. Brown referred to when he said, like we need to take what we want.
Yeah, let your killers make plays.
Let your killers
do their thing.
Do their thing, and also take what we want instead of take what they give us, right? So I think empty would solve a lot of these problems. Now, empty's not the only way to solve that problem. You could also just not have more people staying into block be your answer to the blitz. But I think empty's a big part of it. And also the sim pressures, and we're going to talk about this when we get to the Vikings defense, they run more sim pressures than any other team in the league. And the Eagles have faced more sim pressures than any other team in the league. One of the things that empty does is it makes it harder to disguise coverage, right? You put the running back out as the number 1 receiver to the sideline. You put the tight end out as the number 1 receiver to the other sideline. They could keep their corners out there and make you think they're playing, zone and then play man or whatever, but they're not. They're very unlikely to do that, right? They could put the linebacker out and still play zone. Some teams are doing this kind of disguise, but it just makes it harder. Like, you don't let the defense dictate what they're doing. And Franz talked about this a lot. Most teams don't have that many different answers for empty.
Yeah.
Like, you learn early in the game, like, hey, when we're in empty, they're checking to this. When we're empty, they're playing, they're playing cover 3, or when we're empty, they're playing man every time, or whatever it is. And then you're able to get to the part of the playbook that beats those coverages. And so it's just something that I think can help the Eagles dictate rather than react.
And how often have they been in empty?
Oh, very little. Like very little.
But relative to previous years.
Oh, much less.
Right.
Much less. Yeah.
And this is a thing that they have excelled at in the past.
Yeah, they've never been like top of the league in rate of being an empty, but they've been like,
it's something they've
embraced
in the past.
Yeah, yes. Top half, and they've been very good at it. And
that's why I think
there were games this year where they had like 2 plays and empty the whole game.
Yeah, I think this is one where they will dial the knob up, but I am concerned that the reason they're not doing it is because they don't trust the offensive line. Even though, for the reasons you've said, that doesn't necessarily preclude them from going.
Yeah, I mean, so many teams when they're an empty, they get the ball out faster.
Yeah.
Like in Jalen Hurts is one of the slowest at getting the ball out. Like it would speed him up as well. Oh, and one of the reasons that teams don't like doing empty, which doesn't apply to the Eagles, is the lack of a run threat out of empty. The Eagles have been awesome at quarterback draws out of empty. Like they've literally been like an awesome running team out of empty because the quarterback can run.
To be able to go empty and still present running as an option is a bit of a key.
Exactly. So like the unwillingness to do play action, the fact that you're guessing wrong on the protections, the fact that the quarterback is this like run threat, all of these things would lead you to think like, hey, this team probably uses empty more than any other team in the league, and instead they use it among the lowest. So
all right, 3 down, 3 to go, coming up on the other side here on the PHLY Eagles podcast. Hello there, you. Yes, you. Wouldn't you like to go to a football game? Dial up Game Time. The Game Time app gives the advantage back to fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's incredibly easy to use, and the Game Time guarantee means you can trust you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price. Plus, fees are always included, so you see what you pay. They've got the priority fees. They've got the zone deals, favorites, seat views, so you know exactly what it's going to look like when you get to the game. There's the lowest price guarantee, where Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference, and the Game Time ticket coverage, where your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem with code PHLY for $20 off. Tap, ticket, Go download the Game Time app today. And after you do that, you spend a little money. How about you save a little money with Rocket Money? When it comes to spending, sometimes it's out of sight, out of mind. That daily coffee habit, those streaming subscriptions, they add up fast without you even noticing. Rocket Money helps you spot those patterns so you can do something about them and keep more money in your pocket. Smart money moves are all about getting more out of every dollar. With Rocket Money, you can easily find forgotten subscriptions and have them negotiate bills for you, putting money back in your pocket. With all those savings, Rocket Money practically pays for itself. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/PHLY. That's rocketmoney.com/PHLY. The professor's solution to change and fix the Eagles offense. Number 4. More running from 11 and passing from 12. The 2022 formula.
Yeah, and even further back, going back to Doug, right? It was one of the big Doug things, like pass it when they're expecting you to run it, and when they're in base personnel, run it when they are spread out, right? And it sounds easy and simple, but like the numbers show that the Eagles have been good at doing these things, but they're just not doing them very much. Overall, Eagles EPA per play this season is much better not in 11 than in 11, right?
Yes,
they're 26th in EPA per play when they're in 11 personnel, which they're in about, 60% of the time or so, 65% of the time. When they're not in 11 personnel, they're second in EPA per play, plus 0.12. Now, part of this is the quarterback sneaks, okay, which are out of 12. But even when you remove those, they're still significantly better not in 11 than in 11. So I broke it down into running back runs. I took out the quarterback runs, which they're just better in 12 because all the sneaks are in that. I broke it down into running back runs and dropbacks. And when the Eagles are in heavy personnel, they're 6th in dropback success rate. They've passed out of heavy personnel 41 times. They're 6th in the league in success rate when they do that. They're 29th in the league in running back run success rate when they do that. They've run it 60 times. Now, that rate of passing is 27th highest in the league. So basically, they run it out of those heavy looks at the 6th highest rate of any team in the league. But they're not good at it. And we've talked about the reasons, right? You're putting so much stress on your tight ends being able to block. You're inviting the defense into the box with just a lot of bodies there. And you're forcing the tight ends to block defensive ends, or you're forcing the tight end to, be a wrapper on counter that they're not, good at doing. Like all those things that they haven't been able to do very well with Grant Calcaterra, et cetera. And so when you're in those looks, especially when you get the opponent in base, line up and make them cover you and have them have answers. One of the things the Eagles did very well against Denver, and they kind of just went away from it, was lining up in 12 personnel, 2 tight ends to one side, 2 wide receivers to the other. You get coverage indicators that way, especially against teams that play the corners over when they're in man, and then they don't when they're in zone.
Yeah.
And then you also, sometimes you end up with a mismatch. You get A.J. Brown running full speed at a safety. If he keeps running,
as long as he's not rerouted.
If he keeps running, right?
As long as he's not rerouted.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, he was rerouted and he still was wide open against the safety. So, those are ones where and he's rerouted by a dropping defensive end on that play, by the way, which highlights the fact that you're making defensive ends cover A.J. Brown, safeties cover A.J. Brown, right? And they could do a lot more of this. They just haven't for whatever reason. Meanwhile, when they're at 11th personnel, they're not that good at passing. They're 19th in drop back success rate. So they drop from 6th to 19th when they get into those spread out situations, and they pass it at the 8th highest rate out of 11 personnel of any team in the league. So there's a disproportionate amount of passing out of 11. Obviously, every team passes more out of 11 and runs more out of 12, but the Eagles just do it to a as with everything else, more extreme degree. What do you think of this one?
I feel like this one is kind of like the first one, the play action one, where it will marginally improve, but I don't expect it to be a wholesale change.
Even though it was a 2022 staple? It was the same coaches.
I know. I don't know.
Whose preference is this? I find
it hard to believe that this is anything. This one, I think there are a lot of things in here that if you want to, you can presume it has to do with the quarterback's preferences. This one is just coaching to me. Don't you think?
But because it's the same coaches who were doing this
I
a
don't
bunch
have
in
an answer for the
2022.
why.
Yeah.
Because they've been working hard for a long time. They're too tired. They're not sleeping enough. I don't know.
So many of the things that both Sirianni and Patullo say all the time, and that Jalen hints at times as well, is that every week is different because the opponent's different. And that's one of the reasons I think that this offense looks so schizophrenic.
Yeah, I think they are
one week.
tailoring their game plan to the opponent too much.
Right. And they've played very unique defenses that have very strong personalities. And it's like in a relationship, right? Like if you're in a relationship with someone with a very strong personality, it's very hard to kind of be yourself and not just be like a reflection of that strong personality. And it's like they've been playing like Todd Bowles, like, you know, now you got Brian Flores now. Like it's like these kinds of defenses that do these things at rates that other teams do, and it's almost like they're thinking too hard about it.
I think it's like,
and instead they should be like, we have AJ Brown.
It's like you're lying. It's like if you're telling a different story to 5 different people, and then you got to keep track of all the different lies because you're changing things based on what you want to hear.
Sound like you're speaking from experience.
No, but rather, if you just tell the truth and you're yourself, you don't have to remember anything. You can just be who you are. And this offense has no who you are.
Yeah, I like that. And it has no who you are, even though it's been the same exact people on offense. It's been the same characters. And they've had success. They've had good offenses. They've been to 2 Super Bowls and won one. Like, it's like very strange that they don't have a personality, that they are such a weak personality and are just ends up being a reflection of what the defense's personality is. We should push this relationship analogy further. It. Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
They're speed dating. I don't know.
Yeah.
Solution number 5.
More RPOs. Not a whole lot to say about this because we know that the entire offense was based on RPOs in 2021 and 2022. Yeah. They brought it out against Denver and were very good at it. I think there was 6 for 7 success rate on RPOs in that game and very low success rate not in RPOs. I understand that RPOs are a little bit defense specific, like you're not going to run RPOs against certain looks, but RPOs help the run game. They help the pass game. They let you stay on schedule in situations when the run game isn't working. And I mean, it gives you that option in certain situations for when you do run a play that's not an RPO for it still to pay benefits, kind of like play action, where if you've shown enough RPO looks and you've done enough of the stuff where there is some sort of pass attached to it, you're not going to have those people going downhill to stop the run. So like the regular non-RPO runs should work a little bit better as well when you have RPOs. Looking around the league, there are so many creative RPOs that other teams are using that the Eagles could easily use. Like, I mean, the Eagles typically do like the zone read RPO where like Jalen has the option to keep it and throw a bubble or throw a slant or something. There are other teams that do RPOs with gap schemes. The Giants are an example. I mean, the Giants, like just breaking down the film of this last Giants game, like the Giants had a lot of really cool concepts, like really cool RPO concepts where they're running counter, where they're running some sort of gap scheme with some sort of read attached to it. The Eagles could so easily do that, and it's a great way to eliminate a defender in the run game, right? Like just don't block that defender because we can't block him because Grant Calcaterra can't block anybody. Like, so instead, just don't block him, right? Like and have him worry about the pass. Worked against Denver. They ran 1 RPO against the Giants. I have no idea why. Like it's like there's nothing about the Giants' defensive structure that says RPOs won't be good against them. They have like edge rushers who are aggressive, good pass rushers, like who you could read and who you could kind of eliminate that way. And they just didn't do it. Like, and I don't know why.
I don't know why either. And it goes back to the same conversation we've been having where it doesn't feel like it's like they put their game plan together for the week and they have to stick to the game plan. Like, well, we put in all those hours on the game plan. We got to hit the buttons that we put in, I'm mixing metaphors.
No, that's good.
But you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, we can just go back to this. Like, why not? And it does, when Nick talks about it, too often it's like, well, working harder is always going to be the solution. And I don't think that that's right.
Right.
I don't know. All right.
I think old timers talk about Bill Walsh as players hated playing for Bill Walsh in part because this was back before CBAs and stuff where they could have like 2-a-days and longer meetings and all these things. But apparently Bill Walsh would have essentially 2 entire game plans for every week, and the game would start. And he would say like, okay, like we're doing this one because they're playing zone against this look or whatever.
Right.
So like we're gonna scrap the thing we worked on for half the week and do the other half. And it's like the Eagles don't even have like a one full game plan. They have like a quarter of a game plan that they just hope is going to get them through the whole game. So,
all right, one more solution, number 6.
Related to RPOs, more QB run game. Like, what are we doing? 3 of the 7 games in Jalen Hurts' career without a single QB designed run other than sneaks have been this season. 3 of the 7. 3 of the 6 games this year, he doesn't have a single quarterback run that was designed. Last week, he only had 1. And it was the greatest play in football, bash counter read. It actually worked really well. He made the right read. He kept the ball. And then for whatever reason, he bounced it outside. If he had followed the blockers, it was going to be a successful play. What do they do after that? They don't call a single other one of those plays the whole game. And it's like, this happens so much. It's like, it didn't work the first time, and so we're not going to go back to it. They also are at fault in the other direction. It's like, oh, that mid-zone crawl call with Cam Jurgens pulling around the guard worked great on the first play of the game. And it didn't even work that great. It just happened to have a cutback lane. And so they called exactly the same thing out of the same look again on the second drive. And it's like, it shows how anecdotal the play calling has been. It's like, that worked. Let's do that again. This didn't work. Let's not do this again the whole game. And it's like, it's not keeping defenses off balance. It's making the offense more predictable in that way. So, I mean, you're not doing play action, right? You're not accessing certain parts of the field. Like, you're not stressing the defense. You're not making them defend things that you're not doing. Not having the quarterback involved in the run game just seems crazy to me. Like, and this goes hand in hand with the empty thing because you can do quarterback draws out of that as well.
Of all the 6 things here, this is the one that I think is the most intentional on their part. I think it is. Maybe they haven't been thinking about crossing routes enough, or it just the week-to-week game plan has meant not going empty as often or RPOs as often. This is one where, like, I do really believe from the organization on down, and I don't know if it is a protect Jalen Hurts for the end of the season. I don't know if it's a Jalen Hurts preference himself. This is one where I mean, just given what we've seen in the past, this is one that I think they are intentionally not running him as much. And I think they kind of need to, for the reasons you're saying.
I've heard, well, Jalen was asked about this twice this year. Earlier in the year, he said, you have to ask KP.
Okay.
And then this week, he was asked about it. And he said, it's just how the games have gone. And then when he was directly asked if he was influencing the amount of QB runs there are, he just said no. So I don't know if you believe him on that, but like that's what he said about it. And then I've heard theories that they're waiting for later in the season, right? It's like not worth doing now because it does increase injury risk to Jalen. It's going to be worth it come playoff time. He's going to run more then.
Yeah. I don't know.
And maybe there's something to that. I mean, I don't have a good way to quantify how much the injury risk changes. He has been hurt on running as a quarterback before. It's not like he hasn't, right?
Yeah.
Like there sometimes like we used to say like, no, actually every time he's been injured, he was in the pocket.
He's good at protecting himself.
It's not, and he is pretty good at protecting himself.
Slide over a little bit.
But he has, where am I going? Kind of in the middle here?
We'll wait till we reset.
Okay. Yeah. He has been hurt running it on designed runs, right?
Yeah.
Like against Chicago, for example. So
okay. We're through 6. That means we can get to the rest of the show, including the introduction of EJ Smith, who is here from the NovaCare Complex. We'll do it all in a second after these words from our sponsors. Bet365 has 90 million users worldwide, and they live stream over 780,000 events each year with early payout offers across the NBA and NHL. Bet365 pioneered live in-game betting, and today they offer the widest range of games and markets available for live in-game betting across 78 sports. Got college football coming up. Got full slate of games on Sunday. Where better to get a little extra hooch in the game and at Bet365. And the breaking news from Bet365 is that new customers get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use the code PHLY365, deposit $10, and place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And then I'll tell you about our friends at Ashley and the Ashley Fan Cave. Picture this, a fan cave that actually feels like your dream setup. Thanks to Ashley, that could be real. We're giving away a $2,500 Ashley Furniture gift card. Go big on a sectional. Add some stylish pieces or trick out your space for game day. It's all up to you. Just visit ashleyfancave.com, see if you're eligible, fill out the form, and you're entered. It's that simple. Enter now, and you might be watching the next big game in a fan cave built by you, courtesy of Ashley. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, EJ Smith.
Yay!
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I wore my my Cliff Essentials hoodie in honor of Cliff from yesterday. But yeah, I've been enjoying your conversation in the car.
Oh, nice.
I had to redo my mic. We're good.
Okay.
Do you think we solved the problems?
You don't have any? Go ahead. Yeah. Do you think we solved the problems?
I think that, well, solve the problems will be up to the Eagles coaching staff. But no, I think that you guys raise a lot of good points, especially like, I mean, I feel like the RPO thing has been, it's something that I've just been really confounded by all season, the lack of RPOs, and to hear like the thing I was thinking about. So like now this is fun because like when I'm listening to you guys in the car, I've got things I wanted to say. One of the things I wanted to mention is that like the Eagles have consistently prioritized like bringing in college coaches, and you'd think that like bringing in like a Scott Loeffler, right? Like that would present you like it'd give you an opportunity to like investigate like what are college teams doing? What are some of the newer RPOs, the more creative ways that teams are trying to leverage things like that. So yeah, I think it's been something that's clearly been missing with the offense. Something that I think really could help them stay on schedule, especially on early downs.
Bo
back, baby. Good troubleshooting behind the scenes from Andrew. Unbelievable. Got a blackout there. Fantastic.
Bo kind of jokingly talked about how Scott Loeffler's not getting enough,
yes,
attention. But maybe,
why not?
Maybe there is something to that, right? I mean, what's he doing? Like what's his impact, right? Like because he's like the main new character on the coaching staff. So like it's like we're looking for differences. Patullo's been here the whole time. Sirianni's been here the whole time. Like Jalen's been here the whole time. So is Scott Loeffler part of the reason for some of the changes?
Did you learn anything from the locker room today, EJ?
I'll be honest, it was kind of a ghost town in the locker room. I was dragging myself through the mud a little bit for not pulling the plug earlier so I could join you guys. But yeah, it was.
You felt pod committed, You had already put in the time,
Yeah, no, Saquon Barkley, to pull the listeners back behind the curtain, he's become a late Friday talker.
Okay.
So he puts me like we were talking about with RPOs. I feel like I'm the linebacker that's in conflict here. It's like,
or maybe he's the reason that they're always late to the line on the play clock.
I don't think I'd attribute blame for Saquon on that one.
He's a procrastinator.
I don't think it's procrastination. I mean, listen, I don't begrudge these guys for having a preference for when they talk.
That used to be the DeVonta Smith time, right? Like late Friday?
Yeah, it still is.
Oh, it still is? Okay. So they're both, yeah.
Okay. So nothing. Good to see you.
I'm sorry. I tried. I did try.
How about Nick today? Anything from Nick that you found interesting?
I did find it interesting that
Sirianni, for those of you unfamiliar,
there has been definitely a common theme throughout the week from players and now Nick Sirianni talking about like the importance of like focusing on your individual role. Like, dominate your box has been what you hear from the players. And I do find it interesting. Like, Nick didn't like necessarily say that that's like just this week that they've been harping on it, but I think it is clear that it's been something that they talked about based off of what the players have told us. And Nick didn't deny that, when asked about it today. He was talking about how that is usually like what you default back to. I know you guys talked about like how the work was central to what Nick was talking about, but I also found it interesting, this push to like focus on yourself that is kind of been prevalent throughout the week.
Tell me if you agree with this. I felt like Nick looked more rested today and in a little bit just generally better mood than he was the rest of the week.
I would agree with that. I think that because part of the reason I wanted to go today, so maybe I will spin this as a positive
Sure,
in
yeah.
the locker room today.
It's not like you left me alone.
I just listen. I enjoy the show, so if I can get here to talk to you guys, I want to do it. But I thought it was important this week to take the temperature of the locker room. Feel out where
Cliffy 2 temperature check.
Exactly, and I feel like
kind of 2023 radar, or
and honestly, no, I don't think that felt like the locker room this week did feel a little bit more relaxed than maybe you would have expected off of a 2-game losing streak. I think that the mini bye that's probably the product of the mini bye, is that these guys came back. It sort of felt like a reset. And yeah, I don't get the sense. Even so, the one thing I did accomplish in the locker room, and I will tease to my locker room notes that will come out tomorrow. I did have a conversation with AJ Brown. And I would like to.
That's a big deal.
I would like to go back.
I was going to tell you I had a nice conversation with Sam Howell yesterday, but you really went up to me.
No, I've had a good conversation with Sam Howell. It's easy. That's nothing to sneeze at.
Brett Toth as well.
Another good narrator in the Eagles locker room.
Talked screen time.
All right. So my conversation with AJ Brown. The one thing that I don't think I need to listen back through and kind of parse to make sure that I represent accurately is him talking about the energy in the locker room not really matching the energy externally. It's because I wanted to talk to him about some of the scrutiny that it goes with everything he says, every inflection of his voice, every facial expression. And he said that a lot of that really is more about external factors, like what he said earlier this week. If you look around the locker room, it's normal, right? There's it's not like there's a tension. And I did feel like in 2023 you started to see that creep in. So yeah, does it really matter if they go out and lose on Sunday? Obviously not. And that goes into a lot of what you guys have talked about. But I don't think the panic meter, especially in that locker room, rings out the way that it did at points, I guess in the 2023 season.
I think where I would disagree with him, and just looking at the last game, and it's going to be really interesting to see how it carries over to Sunday, is just on the field.
The way
they got pushed around.
Or the team?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it didn't look like 53 guys who were all, fighting for every yard.
both sides of the ball too.
Yes. And so that's the thing. I want to see how they come out and play energy-wise on Sunday.
Yeah.
That to me is, listen, you want to win the game. I would feel much better about, if they lose by 3 points, but, you see the effort. I think that would be okay.
Well, I think that there might be an intentionality to the way that they have been this week. Trying to not breathe tension into the way that they looked against the Giants.
It's so hard to compare to 2023 too, because that was such a late in the season kind of start to that collapse where, the team was 10-1, right? And then it just went. And I know there was talk about how miserable they were even when they were winning.
Yeah.
But this is the earliest 2-game losing streak this team has had since 2021, right? So we haven't had to see how they haven't had to react to a 2-game losing streak like this.
Yeah.
And it's almost weird because the two lost this game within 4 days of each other, and then you get a break. And I don't know. One thing that I heard this week that I wanted to ask you guys about was Mailata on his radio show, which is like a gold mine for he just says a lot that they probably don't want him saying. He was asked if it's coaching or a player execution issue, and he said that compared to 2023, it's definitely more of a player execution issue. Yes. He said the coaching has been very good and detailed, and then he said, I'll just say it right now, in 2023 it wasn't like that. Like he said, the coaching wasn't detailed. The technique wasn't there in the coaching in 2023. So totally throwing Brian Johnson under the bus and saying that there's a huge difference in the amount of coaching detail this year. Now, he can't say the coaching sucks this year, obviously, but he also didn't have to say that the coaching was like that in 2023.
He goes there to make you think he's really telling.
Yeah, maybe in 2 years he'll talk about how the coaching sucked in 2025.
I think the evidence is there this year, some of the missed explosive plays in the passing game, especially that there have been instances where the call was the right call and it came down to player execution. And I don't know if you saw Mailata's press conference on Wednesday, but he did. He said if you look at the tape, you see that the focus isn't always there with the offense. And
right.
No, it definitely felt like going back to like the message from Nick and from the players about like focusing on your individual assignments. It seems like that's been a real push this week, and I think it is probably addressing that type of stuff.
Yeah, one of the completions to AJ Brown in the red zone. Like,
yes,
Tyler Steen is just flat out run blocking. Like he starts running down the field, and he's like, "Wait, no one else is run." And he like has to like step back, and he could have been flagged for. He got back in time, but like it was or he didn't go more than a yard. But like that's a good example of not focus. It's like everyone else knows it's a pass play, and that had happened in another.
Speaking
game
of focus, Professor, we'll get to more of this conversation in BOvertime. Just in time. Nailed it.
Didn't want to disrupt the BOvertime timing there.
Yeah, we got to nail it.
Yep.
We got to get the little things right.
Got to be nailed.
Master the things that take no talent.
I think BOvertime takes talent.
I don't know about that.
Like just saying BOvertime takes talent?
Wait, the delivery. It's strong. Takes talent.
Thanks.
See, that's a good Fran right there.
Okay.
I don't think he's saying BOvertime. He's saying
BOvertime. Yeah.
Oh, that's even better. It's funny.
Well, yeah, he's going. The capitalization in the middle is interesting.
They're saying
BOvertime.
Fran's still upset you guys didn't just let him have the perpetual swooper item for free.
It's not how it works.
Yeah, what did you think?
He knew it. He knew it. He knew he didn't deserve it.
No, I thought you guys should have just bid on it again at that point.
No.
I was like, come on, just bid on it again. Yeah. Because it affected later items.
Yeah.
No, I understand.
Okay. What else is in your notebook?
Vikings defense. Fran got into it some, but like it really is funny how they just, and like Mina talked about this when she was on with you guys on Wednesday, like they just major in all the things that the Eagles have had trouble with. They're second in overall blitz rate. Now the Eagles have been good against straight blitz this year. Seventh in big blitz rate, which is something we've seen the Eagles struggle with in the past. And they're first in 4-man sim pressures, right? Which has been kind of like the flavor of the month thing to discuss in terms of things the Eagles are having trouble with. The Vikings do it 18% of the time. That's first in the league. The Eagles have been facing it 19% of the time, which is first in the league by a mile. Like the most anyone else has faced it is the Ravens at 14%. The league average is only 8%. So we talked going into the Denver game about how Vance Joseph hadn't run a single 4-man exchange pressure yet on the season. And then against the Eagles, he called 10 of them, right? And so there's no way Brian Flores isn't going to come into this calling those. Mailata said it's like a fun bag at a party and you don't know what you're going to get, right? He said that in the locker room about Brian Flores.
He tried to say that sometimes you'll get a lolly and then went off on a tangent about how that's not what we call it.
It's not called a lolly in the U.S.?
Yeah.
A lot of disguised coverages, as Fran was saying, and a lot of late rotation out of very unorthodox looks. So like last week, there was a game where Harrison Smith, who, by the way, is no longer a full-time player on the defense. He only plays in big nickel and dime. He and Theo Jackson are two of the three safeties on the field. They're lined up on the end of the line of scrimmage on either end. Looks like they're going to blitz. And when they blitz, it is almost always zone. So they run zone behind blitzes, second highest of any team in the league. And so that gives the quarterback a read of blitz and zone. Instead, what happens just before the snap, they both casually jog back the full 20 yards and become the two high safeties in what turns out to be 2-man coverage. So it's man coverage and it's too high instead of blitz, zone, zero. Like it's like the whole thing is like, and you talk about zero, like how can zero be zone? Against the Eagles in 2023, I pulled out my notes for this, the first 4 plays of the game, they blitzed both linebackers, 6-man rush, the other 5 just birds on a wire waiting for the routes. So it wasn't really zero the way you normally see it, where it's like just man. It's more like it was like I remember texting with Fran back then and being like, what do you call this? And I think we landed on zero match. Like it's like cover zero match. And it was like such an unusual. Yeah. Well, he talked about how they do something similar to Two Buster on the show. I thought you were going to talk about it. But yeah, so they did a bunch of that zero match stuff. They did it throughout the game. And then they did a lot of drop 8, cover 2, drop 8, cover 3. And the cover 2 is almost never normal. It's always like Isaiah Rodgers becomes one of the safeties. And then, Medalist comes down and plays like a corner. And they very rarely play normal nickel, like the things that you're normally used to seeing. They play 61% in base personnel. That's third highest in the league. League average is 28%. So they're in base a lot against 11 as well on early downs. And so that's something that the Eagles have to kind of think about. Cam Jurgens was talking about it earlier this week. curious what that does for the Eagles' decision of whether to play more 11 or 12. This might not be the week that they play more 12 because they're thinking, well, if they're going to match 11 with base, maybe we can do it that way. Or they're going to be in base anyway. Let's play the 12 condensed run game because they're not good at stopping the run, which I hope isn't what happens. But and then they don't play normal nickel hardly ever. They play big nickel with Metalist as the nickel, and then they play dime with Harrison Smith coming in as well. And so,
Zach Ertz
a lot of different looks.
I can give you, in the interest of not making this bad podcasting, I will give you each one guess, and I'll give you a specific field. I talked to one player who said that they love Brian Flores' defensive system today. I'm going to tell you what position group, and I'll tell you that they play in the secondary. Who would love Brian Flores? This is now turning into.
I don't feel like most of the secondary is experienced enough to have an opinion here, except for Adoree Jackson or Marcus Epps.
They're just familiar with what he does defensively, and they think that that's awesome. That's the way you got to play defense.
Now I feel like the player who would thrive in it the most is Cooper DeJean.
Oh no, it's not Cooper DeJean. All right, Deniz, you get one guess.
Someone who plays in the Eagles secondary.
Oh, I know who.
You already used your guess. I didn't say he played.
Yeah, I know who it is. And this is a guy who...
it's someone who doesn't play.
Yeah.
It's a guy who can't play for Vic Fangio.
But would love
to play for Brian
Flores.
Oh,
Sidney Brown?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I see.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because you can just use his aggression.
He's basically like, trade me.
No, that's not what he... No, now I feel bad. That's not what he did at all.
No, but that makes sense. Yeah. He's the kind of player who...
That's why I asked him about it.
Yeah, that's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, appreciator of Brian Flores.
I watched Brian Flores' presser this week, and he said something which, almost sounds cliche, but I thought it was a good, kind of lesson in life and everything else as well. He talked about how when they get a new player in, he always sits down with that player and says, you're really good at these things. And this is how we're going to use you. And I feel like he would do that with Sidney Brown. And he also knows what he's not good at, right? And he wouldn't have him do other things. And it's that's almost exactly what the Eagles offensive staff doesn't do, right? It's you're good at these things, we're going to have you do these. It's like sit down with Grant Calcaterra and be we're going to use you as the wraparound counter because you're good at it. Would not be something that anyone ever said. So
it's so hard for me not to just start rapping when you do that.
No.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that when you guys were talking about the RPO game, I know I'm going back to RPOs. I feel like it's a big thing. But
don't apologize.
Well, I feel okay. The Grant Calcaterra, you don't need to ask him to block the defensive end because you can just go out on the route. It's the same thing we talk about with the exchange pressure. Since Deniz is here, I'll say the exchange pressure, where it's if you don't feel great about your edge rushers, drop one of those guys into coverage. That is an example of good coaching where you kind of coach around.
Yes.
Maybe somebody's deficiencies.
And I think Vic does do that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the sim pressures are an example of
yes.
Sorry, the exchange pressure.
Deniz, I know it's on your radar. How much the Eagles have been, shuffling the practice squad.
Oh my goodness!
Got a couple new characters this week.
Yeah,
I'm a little bit worried about
Titus Leo.
Yeah, that's the one that bothers me.
Okay, you're worried about?
Well, I think it's a little bit
last name to
too much from the Eagles. Oh, don't look at us. Everything's fine here. We are still a cohesive group. So much so that they sign a guy whose name is Tight Us.
On brand for you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
good.
Nice welcome to the podium, Joe Walker. Tell us if the team has cohesiveness. Tight us.
Eli Ricks has been released 5 times since August 26th. Just think about that. 5 times.
None of those times by Ivanka, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's good. You don't know what he's doing on those days off. He's getting those.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
You might be asking for those. Hey, can you release me?
It's fine. It's all that matter.
I just need Tuesday off this week.
Tight us. Leo. Who's the other new guy?
Oh, they signed Titus Leo, by the way. If you're wondering why they didn't just sign KJ Henry again, is because KJ Henry signed with another team. And then the other new guy is Jaheim Bell.
Oh, Jaheim Bell.
Jaheim Bell, yeah. who they gave number 46 to, taking it away from Quez Watkins. Quez Watkins is now 86. So Quez Watkins goes from 46 to 86, which makes me worry that he's one step closer to getting on the field.
EJ, is
which
it
I
on
don't
your
think
radar that the Eagles have not reassigned Zadarius Smith's locker yet?
Yes, it's on my radar. Of course it
I
is.
think it's on all of our radars.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting.
Usually those things turn
Especially-
over, especially when they have so many things in the middle. You never know. All right, what else you got? How about the other side of the ball?
Yeah.
What's interesting to you about the Vikings offense?
Well, one of the things that we need to talk about with the Eagles defense is that after watching the film, I came one step closer to your more panicked view of the defense than Fran. You know, I was texting with Fran before I watched the film, and Fran was like, I watched the film. The offense is way more concerning than the defense. Like, what do you think? And I was like, I haven't watched it yet. I had to give myself a few days.
Wow.
Now
straight to the eyes.
Now I have watched it, and yeah, the offense was concerning for all the reasons that we've
But
discussed.
it was already concerning.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It was already concerning. And the defense saved this team last year. They were awesome. That game against the Giants was the 8th worst performance by an Eagles defense in the Sirianni era. Obviously the worst under Fangio. The other ones, it's 4 from 2021, 2 from the late season collapse in 2023. And then, of course, the famous Super Bowl that Jonathan Gannon individually and unforgivably lost in a solo performance. So,
And you do have to wonder if the Eagles win that Super Bowl if Michael Vick never goes to prison.
And then Jonathan Gannon.
what is wrong with that guy?
It's
Like, what
just
the
changed.
hell? Like, what a jerk. Seriously. I hate that guy.
Such a dick.
It is BOvertime. I guess you
I
can say that.
fucking hate that.
Wow.
Fuck that guy.
I mean, it is, you know.
I will never forgive him.
hire-
I
you
don't
hire
care. The
Bobby
Eagles,
Petrino's protégé,
the Eagles
you get
could
what
win
you
the
ask
next
for.
10 Super Bowls, and I will still not ever get over the one that Gannon lost. All right. There were some I wrote a haiku about it last year. I don't know if you remember.
I remember the concept of it.
Yeah. All
Do
right.
you remember the word for word?
I think it was decades. Wait, it has to be 5, right?
575.
Many
It's
years
575, yeah.
many years will pass, but I will never forgive Jonathan Gannon. That was the haiku. All right. Never said it was good. I just said I wrote a haiku.
Forgive Michael Vick, apparently.
What a ridiculous thing to say. Michael, our quarterback went to jail.
Who needs the abacus now? Over
Well,
here?
I'm trying to come up with a new one that's basically just what he said.
There were some repeat issues in this game from the Denver game. That bothered me a little bit since you're asking about the current defense. The Eagles cannot count to 4 in 4x1 looks. Like this has been an issue. They didn't have enough people over the 4-man look out of 4x1 empty against Denver. They just flat out didn't have one guy like covered. And then in this game, Makuba, it's man coverage. It's a 5-man rush. It's a 4x1 look. Makuba has to rotate down and get the 4th guy. He sort of does. And, you know, Fran broke this down, so I don't want to get into too much, but he sort of does, and then he loses him, and it's like he doesn't quite realize he's in man coverage. He's constantly watching the quarterback when the quarterback's scrambling and trying to, you know, we know he's a ball hawk. We know he needs to watch the quarterback to make those plays, but like you're in man coverage. You have to cover that 4th guy. Instead, he just loses him.
You're in man coverage.
Then he missed the tackle. He also tripped Cooper DeJean on the same play. It was a disaster. Then there was
just
another
covered
one
in pee.
that was like a schematic play that I thought Denver had a really clever answer to the way the Eagles normally cover crossers. Teams typically run crossers from the strong side to the weak side. So you've got like 3 receivers on one side, 1 on the other. And how do you cover that crosser from the trip side? The Eagles typically do it with the safety on the boundary side. That's usually Reed Blankenship waiting for that crosser to come over. We've talked about how Fangio is like a master at this. What Denver did is they ran Bobby Engram from the boundary side, where he was the only receiver, on a crosser to the field side. Now, there's nobody to catch that guy. Like the person covering him has to actually run with him, and that was Keely Ringo. He got out-leveraged across the field. It was an 18-yarder. The Giants ran almost exactly the same play with Wan'Dale Robinson. He ran a crosser from the right side to the left side, out-leveraging Keely Ringo. Keely Ringo was very slow to trigger to it, and then he looks, and there's nobody there to catch that crosser because, again, it's not the structure of the defense that the safety is going to catch that. The safety has to worry about other things on the other side in that situation. when you're on the boundary as a corner in a Fangio defense, you're typically essentially in man coverage. And Keely Ringo has been put in that position way too often now, which is why he's benched now, because he's trying to either pass that off or he doesn't understand or whatever. So that was a repeat issue. There is no chance that Kevin O'Connell's not going to run some version of that they're not going to do 4x1, that they're not going to do those kinds of crossers from the boundary side to the field side. So those are two things I'm going to look for in this game. The other thing that was disturbing, we all talked about it, was just how they got beat up play after play after play. I mean, the Giants had 10 of 11 plays at one point that were successful in a row, beating up the Eagles on run plays. 4 guys ended up on the ground on a counter read.
We have breaking news. Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Darius Smith-Locker or no?
No, the Vikings have announced their starter this week at quarterback.
And it's Carson Wentz.
It's Carson Wentz.
All right. So there we go.
I felt like it was going that way.
Yeah. It seemed pretty clear.
The Wentz man.
They both did pressers and stuff, but like it was pretty clear it was going to be Carson. I remember that guy.
What's your lasting Carson Wentz memory?
I try to be positive about it. I mean, like at the end of the day, the Eagles won their first Super Bowl because Carson Wentz was awesome that year.
Yeah.
Right. Like would not have without him. So try to be positive, but it's hard for it not to be.
Do you have a favorite memory from that season of Carson Wentz's? Favorite play?
Probably the like the escape against Washington.
Yeah.
Is like a moment.
Okay.
And then he had the pass to Corey Clement in the
against Washington,
like the right corner, also against Washington.
Yes, that
same
was
game. Yeah.
I was going to say that Washington game.
That was a great one.
Yeah.
Peak Wentz experience. Where it's like
that throw. Where his third read, perfect throw. Yeah.
He was just awesome
and then
in so many games.
The throw on the sideline when he was against the Seahawks, like stumbling out of bounds and flings it 40 yards.
Oh yeah, to Aguilar. To Aguilar, yeah.
Like it was.
Yeah.
It was like one of the hardest throws you'll ever
on
see.
the film from the end zone. It looks crazy. Like it looks like it's not real. Yeah, he had a throw like that last week.
Did he?
Yeah, unbelievable. Like going to his right, he like kind of ducked under a pressure, went to his right, and then threw it across his body and completed it down the sideline. And it was like such a Carson Wentz moment. I think that's what Fran was getting emotional about, seeing those kinds of plays combined with like some of the other stuff that he still does.
I mean, but your favorite moment on film this week had to do with the exciting mics.
Oh my goodness, yeah. There was a play where Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship run into each other, and it looks like a scene from like Scooby-Doo or something, where they run into each other so hard that they both bounce into the air and like fall to the ground, like a cartoon. Real humans don't normally bounce like that. So that was pretty funny. Everett and I watched it over and over again on the film.
That was very funny.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, the getting beat up, getting confused, like getting calls, like all these things that we haven't seen from this Fangio defense before has me a little bit worried. And it's like, is this team just not physical enough to stop the run because you don't have the guys on the defensive line to do it? I think it's not being talked about that much, but Jordan Davis isn't quite as strong against the run as he was, and that makes sense, like because he is smaller, right? Like, I do wonder if that's like a thing.
My I wouldn't say a concern, but I always wondered, like, if you take away like his size, like to a certain degree, how does he compensate? Because it's like, I think the thing with Davis is that he's a special player because he moves that well at that size,
right?
And now he talked about it a lot in the summer, like trying to compensate, like in strength, what he would lose in size. And yeah, I haven't studied it as closely as you, but I did wonder if that would impact him as a run defender, especially as the season wore on.
I think it has a little bit. I think it's just like there are plays now where they're doubling. So, for example, there was a play where they're doubling. It's more out of just because of the alignment, but they're doubling Byron Young, and then the center just like single-handedly is able to move Jordan Davis.
Yeah,
like, and I feel like that didn't used to
happen.
The
Broncos where that happened as well.
Yeah,
and like it's I guess it's important to point out that he does have like a tough job in a Fangio system because they run. They have so many like boxes, but still, yeah, no, I think that's a fair observation.
Yeah, and then it's also disappointing that we talked about how he's lost weight now, so he should be on the field on passing downs, and they're bringing Ty Robinson on passing downs.
Yeah, I
mean on those third and longs, it was Ty Robinson and Moro Ojimo out there, which it's great that Ty Robinson's getting out there and doing something, and he deflected a pass, and he had a few nice rushes, but like. In terms of Jordan Davis usage, that's one of the things we keep on wondering, is he going to be out there on those plays? And in a game where Jalen Carter doesn't play, for him still not to be one of the D tackles out there on third downs is worth talking about, because I thought the point of him losing weight, in part, was that he can be out there on those plays.
Now, how much do a healthy Jalen Carter and Quinyon Mitchell paper over a lot of these issues?
Yeah, I mean, with Quinyon Mitchell, it's like I'm still a little bit concerned because he can take away one side of the field, but it's the offense gets to choose where the ball goes. And unless that second cornerback spot gets better, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, there were so many plays in this game where just by alignment, the Eagles were giving up a first down. I mean, Adoree Jackson's playing 8 yards off on 3rd and 4, and you can tell before the snap it's going to be a throw to that side. Like, it's not that hard to figure out. And it reminded me a little bit of those Gannon defenses where it's like, you know, just seeing that happen in a Fangio defense, like, makes you wonder, like, how much of it is Fangio and how much of it is that it was Slay and Q out there and they had confidence to, you know, play guys up close. And these were not world-beating wide receivers on the Giants. So it's going to be a challenge this week. And Q can travel with Justin Jefferson, but
that still leaves the other side of the field. And also, it's like Quinyon Mitchell off of a hamstring injury against Justin Jefferson. Like, you feel good about Quinyon Mitchell in almost every matchup, but that is just an objectively insanely difficult matchup.
Yeah. And they do cool stuff. I mean, like against Pittsburgh, they lined up Justin Jefferson like behind. He motioned behind the running back. And then he ran a wheel route from the backfield, and they just handed it off to the running back. 3 guys chased Justin Jefferson, and the run went for like 15 yards. And then 1 week later, they go from Dublin to London or whatever. They do the same thing again, same motion. And this time they actually throw it to Justin Jefferson on the wheel, and he's open because this time they didn't play it. And it's like, that's such a good example of using a player in a creative way. You having one play that they watched on film, like you know, feed another. It's like all the things that we wish the Eagles offense did.
Yeah, it seems like they
Franz defended himself in the chat. He says, I'm willing to say that this week was a blip for the defense, what we saw versus McVay, Baker Mayfield, and Mahomes, as opposed to the offensive structure.
That's pretty good.
I know.
All right. Maybe it wasn't pretty good.
Did you listen to the Birds with Friends shows from London by any chance? Where the entire episode was in that accent?
I vaguely remember that. I do vaguely remember that. Which I guess speaks to maybe I didn't listen closely enough.
Yeah.
Couldn't listen to the whole thing because he hates the Beatles.
Not this again, please.
When you listen to Beatles songs, can you tell who's singing just by hearing it?
I know what my own voice sounds like, yes. I don't know.
Like, what's your confidence when you hear a Beatles song, like if it's Paul or John singing?
Good question, actually.
Because for me, it's like surprisingly hard. Like if I hear them talking, I can tell which one it is. But when they sing so similarly that I can't tell with confidence.
Not that many turkeys.
All right.
Yeah, I wouldn't feel confident about it, especially as like now that I've been crowned the resident Beatles hater on this podcast. I don't hate the Beatles, for the record.
You just think they're overrated.
Overrated isn't the right word. They're fine.
Losers? Yeah.
They're fine.
I mean, that means you think they're overrated.
I guess by the definition, I don't think that they are like the greatest band of all time.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Jersey,
I mean, I can
colors. We need to worry about that.
They're wearing white on green, which they wore against the Rams this year. That was the only other one this year, and they're very good in that combination, as they are in every combination under Sirianni. So we'll see. You like that stadium?
I do like that stadium.
It's my first time. I'm excited.
Really?
Yeah.
When did you start covering that?
2019.
Oh, okay.
They played there in 2019, right?
You didn't go to
Oh yeah, I didn't go to the away games in 2019.
Okay.
Low man on the totem pole.
Listen, the Inquirer's got a long totem pole, so no.
Must be nice.
It is BOvertime.
I actually did check myself when I said, I was like, it's BOvertime, it's fine.
Yeah, Eagles are 9-2 wearing white on green under Sirianni.
Did you then get to travel to all away games? Well, I guess no, because
2021 was my first year traveling. So do you think that I shouldn't say my first year covering the team was 2019? I mean, I covered the team.
No,
I
you
just
covered
didn't
the team.
travel.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not territorial like that.
Yeah.
So you went to the home games, but not the away games?
Mm-hmm. Some of the drivable road games, but yeah, no flights.
Both of the losses wearing white on green, I'll continue, were in that 2023 collapse. They lost in Seattle, and they lost to the Giants in the last game. So those are the only 2 times they lost with this uniform combination, since you asked.
Any predictions for the game, EJ? Not score, but like something we might see.
Yeah, I think that I would expect to see the Eagles like commit a little bit more to the run game and try to like do a better job putting defenses into conflict, whether that is play action or RPO game. I think that is probably something I would expect. I know that like Flores is going, like the Flores defense dictates a lot to an opposing offense, and we've heard the Eagles talk about like not wanting to be as reactive on offense, but I think the answer is going to be the run game, and then again the play action off of the run. And
just a few things about the other side of the ball. I mean, just big picture, the Vikings offense has been really bad. I mean, like they just, they're 27th by DVOA, 27th in EPA per drive, 28th in series conversion rate. They're dead last in success rate against the blitz. I don't know if that means like Fangio will blitz more or if they just thinks of that as situational. They're not really getting anything out of big plays. They're 27th in EPA from big plays, 30th in EPA lost from turnovers. They're just kind of bad across the board. In everything. It's been a little bit better with Carson than it was with McCarthy, but I don't know. I mean, they haven't run the ball very well at all. I don't really know.
Better at special teams.
In the back. Yeah. They're better at special teams. 9th. Eagles are 25th in special teams DVOA despite like a blocked punt or a touchdown and a blocked field goal to win the game. Yeah. No, it's the kickoff returns have been just a disaster. Right. Oh, I was going to ask one thing about the Eagles defense
thing too.
After would you like? Okay.
How fortuitous.
Yeah.
2 things coming.
N'Kobe Dean.
Yeah. Are we going to ask the same thing?
No, interesting.
Go on.
Well, you were in the locker room, so I'm curious if you got the same feeling from being there as I did from watching the very short videos that they post. N'Kobe Dean, Jihad Campbell, and Zach Bond all talked about N'Kobe Dean as if he's going to play this week on defense.
Yeah, so that was what I was going to ask you. You
were going to ask the same question?
I was going to ask about Jihad Campbell, the Jihad Campbell side of this.
Oh, like playing edge kind of thing?
Yeah,
Make some space for it.
It's I like making space for things. I don't know how to interpret N'Kobe Dean's like accounting of these things because he's bullish on it. But I do think that we will see him integrate more into the defense progressively. Like, what I'm curious
about. He said they held me out on defense because there wasn't practice this week.
Yeah.
In a way that implied that like he was going to be on defense.
I think he would have been bullish on like playing.
Okay.
And obviously that didn't happen.
Okay.
So I think he is pushing for things. But when you ask him about like his role in the defense, he really doesn't like to get into it too much. So I don't know. I agree with you. Like when you listen to him talk about it, it does seem like he'll have a role on defense. And I think he probably will. What it looks like, I mean, it's going to hinge on Jihad Campbell's usage.
Right.
And I wanted to ask what you thought about Jihad Campbell on the edge.
Yeah. So Jihad Campbell has been doing the like rotating to the like edge a lot as the overhang in base, where it changes the front from a 5-2 front to a 6-1 front. Could you do that in nickel and change it from and turn it into like a if you have N'Kobe Dean, Zach Bond, and him all out there in a different kind of base look where you go to a 5-2 front.
Yeah.
That's the only way you're going to get N'Kobe Dean on the field.
Right.
Right? You need it to be like a 4-3 base, which the Eagles never do.
Right.
Instead of a 5-2 base.
Or a 3-3-5, which we don't see much in the NFL.
But that's kind of what I mean by
3-3-5 would like look like a 5-1, like that penny.
But then you have 2 linebackers playing as edges, right?
Exactly.
You don't need to do that.
Right.
Now, Vic Fangio is going to want to steal edge snaps. He's done that in the past by playing 3 defensive tackles and a single edge defender on the field. He did it a little bit in one of the games this year. I'm blanking on which one it was. I think it was the Tampa game. He did it like on 5 snaps or something. He did it 51 times last year. I know that. So we might see that, but that doesn't get a 3rd linebacker on the field. Like you would need to do that in a scenario where you're essentially using Jihad Campbell as a real edge, and then using the other 2 linebackers on the field at once. Jihad Campbell said he's excited to see N'Kobe Dean make plays on defense, which indicated to me like maybe he knows something. And Zach Bond talked about how it's easier to go from inside to outside than outside to inside.
Yeah.
Which, why is he talking about that if that's not a process that's happening with Jahad Campbell? Now
No.
he's too small to play edge.
I was going to say, now that like it brings
Like,
up
the
the
Eagles
question,
are already
like,
getting
is he
pushed around.
well-suited
Yeah.
to play edge rusher? Because it's like, to me, it's like, oh, maybe you steal some early downs putting him out there, but it's like, do you really want him at the point of attack that consistently against the run?
On film, he looks okay, like knifing through
Yeah.
a gap and like taking on a blocker in that situation and making a play, but he has not looked good actually on the edge. Like when he's been the edge on those like 6-man lines, like he's getting double teamed and pushed out of the way, and teams are having plenty of success, like running it outside. Those toss plays that teams have been running,
Yeah.
the Vikings are going to run those as well. I'm not sure if like that's the best usage of Jahad Campbell. Plus all this talk of how good he is in coverage. Like, do you want to take him out of that role and put him in a different role just to get N'Kobe on the field?
Right.
If the edge like room wasn't so thin right now, and I don't know if it's going to get less thin soon, but like, you know, I don't think this would even be a discussion.
It would not be a conversation.
Yeah. That's the thing. So
yeah.
How about it, N'Kobe Bean?
might be one of the least inspired.
I mean,
You had so much time to think of it too. And that's all you could come up with.
Who's going to return kickoffs, CJ?
It's a good question.
Is Xavier Gibson going to play?
was he on the roster?
Why is he
for?
on the team?
If he
Yeah.
can't return kickoffs,
I mean, he can return kickoffs.
so let him do it. They have. I mean, everybody else can't catch
He's
the ball.
like the one guy who's like ever successfully returned kickoffs, right?
It's,
You know,
It would
another
be wild to
thing,
me.
like a schematic difference on kickoffs now is that very few teams are only putting one returner back there. Like Dallas is doing it because they really want Turpin to get the ball. So like he's back there and he's like willing to run to cover the whole field. Most guys aren't fast enough to do that. Like you can't just put one guy back there, which gives the other team a choice of who to kick it to. So you basically need two guys who can return kicks. And the Eagles don't have any. So yeah, I'd also like to see Britton
Gibson
Covey
and Will
return
Shipley.
punts, but
yeah, the Britton Covey, like this, like the fact that he hasn't been called up also surprised me. I mean, like he's post injury, and you know, obviously didn't stick with the Rams, but we've seen what he can do in the punt return game at least before the injury. So
yeah, Fran's talking about how Gibson's been good at it, but again, like with this format, you would just kick it to the other guy, wouldn't you? Like who's the second guy going to be?
Shipley.
Yeah, I guess if it's Shipley and Gibson, then you have two guys who hopefully can catch the ball. Yeah. All right.
All right. Good stuff, everybody. Remember, we've got you covered all day long on Sunday with the kickoff show, the halftime show, and the post-game show with Jamie Lynch and Vinny Curry, Super Bowl champion. We'll hear from EJ Smith. What are your travel plans?
I'm flying out Saturday afternoon.
Well, your arm's going to be tired.
It's a bad dad joke. That's a really bad dad joke.
That's why he asked you, EJ.
Just because you wanted to say that.
I want to know.
I don't have very many plans outside of that.
Okay.
It'll be fun.
Go to
the mall.
I like a Minneapolis.
I love them all.
Don't go to the mall.
I hate the mall.
What are you doing?
Mall's the worst.
I'm a suburban Philly kid. Like I love the.
It's also not in downtown. No, it's not going to be near where you're staying.
I'll find a way.
Wow, this is.
Why are you
Bad
hating
joke,
on
mate.
malls? Malls are good.
I don't have a problem with the mall in general. I mean, most malls at this point are pretty depressing. That one's fine.
Mall is great.
I lived there for a week.
This time of
essentially.
year, you go for a mall walk. It's a little cold outside. You just want to get some steps in.
If you've never been to Minneapolis, go downtown.
I can do both. It's not, these aren't.
I'm like the most anti-mall person I know. So like I'm not even gonna like I get depressed within 6 seconds of being in a mall. And I run out, even
Because
if I really need something. I literally scream and run out.
all the commercialism of it. Is that what it is?
No, just everything about it. I just
The sterility.
I don't like. I've talked before about how I don't like chains. I don't like the kind of like
I like a
sterile
chain.
corporate
In your
thing.
face capitalism.
Everything about a mall is like everything I don't like. So
I don't go to the mall to buy a lot of stuff.
especially
I go
in
to
the
just
city, it makes
walk
no
around.
sense. Like
Well, yeah, I'm suburban boy over here.
unfortunately, malls have taken over Turkish culture. Like my cousin grew up in malls in Ankara, even though like it's a city that has organic marketplaces, you know, like and so the replacement of the organic old like merchants with
Since you're wearing the Cliffy shirt, I will say that I think he would call you out on you're hitting suburban too hard when really you're boonies.
I don't live in the boonies. It's funny that Cliff thinks I live in the boonies, but no, I don't. Also, I didn't mention this yesterday. Cliff and my dad got into like a legitimate argument about where Cliff is from.
What?
Like, Dad, I think he knows where he's from.
I like that. Was it like a philosophical argument, or
I think it was like Cliff doesn't like to claim part of the area that he's from. Like he's not from like a certain part of that town.
he's not from France part of that town?
Right.
Yeah, he doesn't like to claim that part.
Got it. Anyway, that'll do it for this episode. Thank you, Deniz. Thank you, EJ. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Lindsay. We will talk to you on Sunday. For all of us here at PHLY, enjoy the weekend. And as always, we love you.
We all silly like the mayor.